Hello. So we're in our final week of asana practice, and next week we'll be starting pranayama. I also announced today that I'll be offering a yoga theory course, a 3-credit yoga theory course, as well as a 1-credit yoga nidra course coming up. So you can look out for those if you'd like to take more yoga classes. Today we'll be doing some inversions, some twists, forward bending, backward bending, and some balancing in the supine position, so starting on the back. And a lot of these are just like passive poses where if you breathe deeply and relax, you'll get deeper and deeper into the stretch. So I'll get started on these, and then we finish with a shavasana this week. I may make that as a separate video so that you can use that whenever you want. It often comes at the end of a class, but it can be done anytime throughout the practice, whenever you need a break, or anytime throughout the day. Okay. So I always start the supine positions on the back, and I'm trying to work with my face here. So start on the back with the palms, soles of the feet together, knees falling outward. Focus on elongating the spine. I like to inhale, stretch upward, the whole body. Exhale the arms forward and down. Inhale up over the head, and then we'll exhale the arms wide and down. Inhale wide and up like a sun breath. You can do any combination of this that you like. Forward, wide, just getting the shoulders moving. And then you can rest with your arms over your head, holding onto your elbows, and take several deep breaths down into the belly. You may feel your knees falling outward in this position little by little as you rest. You may switch the arms, switch which one's on top. Inhale the arms up, forward and down. And we'll bring the legs straight, toes pointed outward. Now in this position, first thing we'll do is a hip movement, a full leg circle. So bring your palms down toward the mat and just tuck them under your hips. That will support your hips in this movement. You'll see why. So we're going to make a big circle, the left leg moving outward. Imagine that you're drawing a big circle on the wall in front of you, 3 big circles. And then do 3 in the other direction. When I do this pose with my daughter, I tell her, imagine that you're drawing on the wall with your foot. Big circle on the wall with your foot. And then we do the same thing with the other leg. You may feel your hip like popping a little bit. That's pretty normal. And I was told, and I find that it helps with that when you put your palm under your hip, it decreases that kind of popping. And then we're going to bring both legs up in Uttanasana. If you can bring both legs up without really bending the knees much, that puts more strength. It involves more strength in your abdomen. And then when we have both legs up, it puts some pressure on your abdomen, and it's somewhat strengthening, but it is also like just intended to be a comfortable passive type of position. My knees are like loosely bent, but you want to mostly have the legs just relaxed up and down. There's blood flowing to your abdomen, away from the legs. This can improve digestion, improve functioning of the internal organs. We're going to bring the legs down. We'll bring one leg up, Ekpad Uttanasana, one leg up pose. And then I flex the foot so that it's faced up toward the ceiling. And well, first I do a couple of ankle movements, because that's always good. And then reach for the bottom of the foot. Here, you may not be able to keep a straight leg. It's okay if the knee bends a little bit, but focus on keeping the head and the shoulders on the mat. Hold on to the toe and let the leg fall outward, opening the hip if possible. You can also keep the leg bent and let the leg fall open a little bit. Then we're going to cross the leg over the body into a twist. So here, letting the left knee, the left shoulder, and the left ear all drop down toward the ground. I like to rest my right hand on top of the left knee. A little bit of added weight for the twist. Don't push it though. You shouldn't expect your knee to touch the ground or your shoulder or your ear. Just as you inhale, imagine elongating the spine, and as you exhale, relaxing into a twist. And slowly inhale and untwist the shoulders and the hips. Inhale, exhale. Then we'll bring the other leg up, toe pointed toward the ceiling. And a couple of ankle circles. Reach up to hold on to the bottom of the foot, keeping the head and shoulders on the ground. So the way I grab my big toe is I take my pointer and my middle finger, put it between my big and second toe, and I wrap my thumb around it. Let that leg fall outward as far as you can. I'm running into my stuff. Bend your knee if you want to or need to. And then you can flop the leg over. You can do a twist with your leg straight or bent. As you inhale, imagine the spine extending up toward the head and down toward the tailbone. And as you exhale, just relaxing into the twist. Imagining your right knee, right shoulder, and ear dropping toward the mat. Slowly and carefully untwisting the shoulders and the hips. And we'll bring our knees up and our toes in. Grab onto both of your toes like that with the two fingers and your thumb. And we're going to rock upward into boat pose, which is Nakasana. We're going to rock up. And the shoulders are down and back. Back is straight. Legs are straight. We're finding our balancing point. You can bring your arms parallel with the floor. And then lower yourself back down to the mat. Hug both of your knees into your chest. And as you exhale, bring your chin toward your knees. Inhale, laying back down. Exhale. Let's bring one leg out, keeping the left knee in toward the chest. Foot flexed. Exhale, chin toward the knee. And we can do the same on the other side. Bringing the right knee in toward the chest. Exhale, chin toward the knee. And the next pose is called plow pose or halasana. We'll be bringing our feet up and over the head. We'll also be doing shoulder stand. And then the counter pose to both of those, like they're actually kind of a forward bend because we're flopping our body over. Counter pose is a backward bend called fish or Matsyasana. So in plow, I guess I'm not going to put my hair up. I'm always laying on my hair, so if you have long hair, you can, you may have to adjust where it is. A ponytail gets in the way too. So anyway, we're going to bring our legs up over the back. One way to do this is with your toes on the mat and palms on the mat. You can interlace your fingers and walk your shoulders together. You can let the tops of your feet reach down to the mat. Another variation is to let the legs go wide. You can bring the knees next to the ears also. And you can also bring the arms back with the legs. Kind of deciding what's most comfortable. And I'm interlacing my fingers together again. And we'll move into Sarvangasana, shoulder stand. Sorry, my mouth is against the microphone. You may decide to support your back with your arms, resting on your elbows. And if you are able to come up, you can do a couple variations I'll show you. So you can bring your legs wide, soles of the feet together. You can bring your legs forward and back. And you can even try Padmasana. And then when you're ready to come down, bring the hands apart and lower the back one vertebrae at a time. Until we're back in Uttanasana. And then lower the legs. Okay, so now we'll move into fish pose. And in this pose, this is the counter position. There are two ways to do it. One is with straight legs, and one is with the legs in a Padmasana position. So I'll show you straight leg first. We'll come up on the elbows, and we're letting our whole torso and head hang back. Now in this position, it's really important to protect your neck. Don't try to lift your head up in this position because you'll strain the front of your neck. You're going to let your head rest back, and when you're ready to come down, lower yourself down using your elbows. We're not sitting up from this position, in other words. Okay, so with the legs straight, point the toes toward the wall in front of you. We're coming up on our elbows and arching up and back like a rainbow, like a fish. And now I'll show you the variation with Padmasana. So hold on to your toes, bring your elbows in. It's an up and back motion. Try not to compress the spine, trying to come up and back. Okay. Now that we've done Halasana and the counter pose, Matsyasana, doing one more pose where we arch backward. This is called bridge or Chakrasana. The modified version, I think they call it Adha Chakrasana. We're going to bring our arms up over the head, the feet next to the hips, about hips width apart, and we're just going to lift the hips. Careful not to let the knees fall outward. And if you want, you can straighten one leg and then the other. Definitely strengthening in the leg that you're standing on. And then lower down your back one vertebrae at a time. Trying to curl the tailbone in as you come to lay down so that you're really lowering one at a time. And finally, a full Chakrasana I will try. So like I always say, or I've said several times, certain poses are easier certain times of day or on certain days. So I always try to listen to my body. Sometimes I can do it, sometimes I can't. Depends on my wrists, how my wrists are feeling and how my knees are feeling largely. So you can try it if you want. And then from here, we can go into happy baby pose. Now that our back is happily flat on the mat, we're gonna hold on to our toes. You can straighten and bend each leg one at a time to help you roll side to side, side to side. Sometimes I come back into Tadasana, pond pose for a minute. And then we'll move into Shavasana. So I think I'm going to make a separate video all about Shavasana so that you can play that anytime you like.